Hello class, and welcome to my intro video for Chapter 1 in our textbook. I will be posting a short video for each chapter of the book, but these videos are not intended to be a comprehensive summary of each chapter's content. Instead, I would like to use these videos as an opportunity to share my personal perspective on the chapter's topic, as well as give you some information to guide your reading and note-taking so that you can best prepare yourself for quizzes and forum discussions that will be a part of each week's assignment. You should read each chapter carefully and take notes on terms and concepts with special attention to any topics or directions I point out in these videos. Some of the information I present in the videos might be very similar to some of the information in the textbook, and some of it may be different. My goal in these videos is to offer you some straightforward and personalized ideas and perspectives to take with you as you work through the rest of the course material for each week. This first chapter offers an introduction to the field of anthropology and to the anthropological perspective. Although some of you may be anthropology majors, most students take this class for one reason and one reason only: to fulfill a university studies requirement, and that is totally fine. But unlike subjects such as chemistry, English, or math that we almost always study in high school, many of you have had no exposure to anthropology before enrolling by chance in an introductory college course such as this one. So I think this first chapter is really important to serve as a foundation upon which we build our understanding of cultural anthropology throughout the course. Anthropology is, in the absolute simplest sense, the study of humans. You might ask yourself, well, a lot of disciplines focus on humans. Sociology, psychology, and history, for example. So what makes anthropology different from those other humanistic disciplines? Well, from my perspective, the thing that makes anthropology unique is that it is really the comprehensive study of humankind. Comprehensive means it covers everything there is to being human. Anthropologists study humans in the past as well as humans in the present. We study humans as biological beings and humans as cultural beings. We study what makes humans similar to each other and what makes us different. We study humans as part of their natural environments and as part of the social environments that we create for ourselves. We study humans specifically as they exist in one particular place at one particular time, and we study humans more generally as dynamic and ever-changing, both biologically and culturally. We study the tangible, the material stuff humans make and use, as well as the more intangible stuff, like ideas, symbols, and morals. Anthropologists study humans living in small communities in the most remote places on Earth, but we also study humans in our own figurative backyards. Of course, not every anthropologist studies all these things. There are lots of different kinds of anthropologists with different specialties, allowing us to split up the work of understanding what it means to be human from a holistic perspective. But despite our diversity of interests and perspectives, I like to think that anthropologists all share the same ultimate goal: to contribute to a more complete understanding of the human condition. One of the big things this chapter will do is introduce you to the four subfields of American-style anthropology. These are biological or physical anthropology, linguistic anthropology, archaeology, and cultural anthropology, the last of which is the topic of this course. The text will give you a good introduction to the differences between these fields, but keep in mind that many anthropologists work in more than one of these subfields. For example, some anthropologists study human remains from people who lived long ago, combining the realms of biological anthropology and archaeology into a field we call bioarchaeology. Aside from working with each other, many anthropologists work with specialists from completely different disciplines. For example, an archaeologist might work closely with a soil scientist to understand a buried site. A paleoanthropologist studying human fossils from hundreds of thousands of years ago might work with a geologist, or a cultural anthropologist may work with a sociologist, psychologist, or historian. The diversity of our discipline not only welcomes such collaboration, it requires it. Although my own research specialized on submerged landscape archaeology in the Philippine Islands, there were many aspects of anthropology I found invaluable to the data collection process. Instead of hanging out at tourist locations or in the cities, I immersed myself into the culture by living in a remote village on the island of Cebu for 7 months. This began a journey of understanding the dynamics of the over 150 language types spoken throughout the islands and how they are separated by socioeconomic class differentiation. I began to understand how people viewed their world around them and what their values were. This in turn allowed me access and liberties rarely afforded to outsiders, all the while not compromising the integrity of their own worldviews. Without the basic training of all four subfields, my research would likely have not been as successful. While the United States places archaeology under the umbrella term of anthropology, regions such as Europe and Australia view the two as entirely separate disciplines. A colleague of mine in the Philippines was a trained archaeologist from Germany. While his research methods and techniques were impressive in terms of archaeology, he lacked the understanding of the local culture. This created issues in his research as his disregard of the island inhabitants' culture resulted in his site eventually being looted. While he viewed the incident as plain thievery, the locals viewed his behavior as the Tagalog term utang na loob, which is a deeply grained part of the Philippine culture where taking advantage of their years of hospitality or help with no reciprocity is a major cultural infraction. Knowing these cultural values and aspects of their language could have prevented the situation. Through acquiring basic training in all subfields of American anthropology as part of the education process, anthropological research stands to benefit as a whole, no matter how specialized. In addition to learning about the different subdisciplines of anthropology, I would like you to pay special attention to the way our textbook author focuses on the concept of globalization. What is globalization? How can anthropology contribute to the understanding of what globalization is? How does globalization affect how anthropologists of all varieties do their work? The quiz will be more general and cover the whole chapter, but the forum question for the week will require that you focus in on the globalization part. The film for the week takes us in a bit of a different direction, exploring research on a very famous gorilla named Koko. Apes, in case you did not know, are the animals that are most closely related to us. So closely related that some anthropologists specifically study apes to learn about how similar and different we are compared to them, both biologically and behaviorally. Your film reaction question will ask you to consider the relevance of studying apes to understanding humans. The link will take you to a PBS website for a documentary about Koko. We won't watch the whole video, but you will see there is a series of short clips that you should be able to watch. Watch them all before you complete the film reaction. That's about everything I wanted to cover in this video. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you enjoy this first chapter and the class as we continue throughout the semester.